எப்படி தெரியும்னு பார்த்து அது மீன் சவுண்டை மட்டும் வாய்ஸ் மீட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஓகே. Okay. So here we are going to just recall for the first 10 minutes what we have discussed in our yesterday session. So yesterday we had started the discussion on Git. Okay. Git is a open source tool. For what purpose we make use of Git, which is used for software configuration management or version control system. So here it is used to manage various softwares program developed by the developers. Okay. So here the main intention of going for this SEM or VCS tools like Git is, it is used for tracking and controlling changes in the software. The main intention is to track and to control the changes that we made in the software. Okay. So here we have already discussed about the architecture, everything about Git in our yesterday session itself. Okay, so if you take any project, if you take any application project, this project contains several developers. Developer 1, developer 2, developer 3, up to developer. Each and every developer will have a own module of development. So here maintaining all these modules of those developers coming under the project and making the changes in a controlled manner, tracking the changes, who made the change, what's the reason behind that the change was made, what is the date and time at which change was made. Everything will be managed under a single location called as repositories. Okay. So for this purpose we make use of a tool called as a Git. So similar to that of Git, there are several tools. So some of the prominently known tools are SVN, CVS, Preforce, Perforce. These are all some of the commonly used tools. We have discussed about these pros and cons of the tools in our yesterday session itself. Okay, in terms of Git, the terminologies that you need to aware of is, first terminology, workspace. You need to aware of what is workspace, and you need to aware of staging area, and you need to aware of repositories. So under repository you need to aware of branch, and these are in terms of repositories. We have local repositories and global repositories. And in terms of commands, what you need to know, you need to know the command add, git commit, git push, git pull. So in order to view the contents of your commits and in order to view the status of the file, you need to know git status. Each and every one need to be prefixed with git status and git logs. So these are all the basic commands that we had discussion. Also we had a clone to create a workspace from an existing repository. These are all the commands that we had discussion in our previous session. Okay, so staging area, workspace, repository, branch, etc. So here, if you take the work environment of Git, it contains 3 work environment. One is the workspace. Here only the user will type the code. He will do all sort of modifications in the code. The area visible to the user is workspace. Followed with we have an intermediate storage area called as staging area, in which once the user completed its coding, so you want to move the coding into the staging area. In the staging area only Git will take a snapshot, that is the backup. The concept associated with snapshot, everything has been discussed in our previous session. Just a recall of what we did. So here if you issue this git add command, then all the file, let me make it, it is a file 1. The git add will F1 will take the file from the workspace into the staging area. Then if you issue git commit here, it will take you to the repository. Here the repository, this repository may be a local repository. You can directly push to a global repository. Both the thing is possible. Okay, it is a global or we call it as a public repository or global repository, whatever way. For example of that repository is GitHub. You might have heard about GitHub. GitHub is a repository, global repository, which is used for storing and sharing open source softwares. Okay, so each and everyone can have an account in GitHub, and you can link that GitHub repository with your local computers. So what are all the things that you are doing in your local computer? If you want to share those content to across peoples, then you need to push the content into the global repository like GitHub. Imagine that it is similar to that of having your file in a Google Drive, so that sharing those files among multiple users. So GitHub is a open source repository which is predominantly used for storing and which is used for sharing files among set of users, mostly open source. Here, what are all the things that we can store here in Git and GitHub? Here we can store not only software codes, also we can store PDFs, we can store all sort of documents, images, like everything that we can store. If there is a change in these documents, then that change will be traced using versions for each and every document. Whether it is a code or document, everything in the changes will be recorded along with the information, who made the change, at what time made the change. So here this thing can be tracked using a commit ID. We have commit ID for each and every change. The commit ID contains the following information. Okay, these are all some of the terminology associated with this Git. In our yesterday's session, what we did, we have started with how to create a workspace. Okay, before that we did how to create a repository. We have created a repository, and the repository can be of two types. One is bare, the second one is non-bare repository. So in a non-bare repository, you can create, you can modify the files, you can store the files, and you can share the files. You can do all sort of activity. Whereas in a bare repository, you can store and you can share the file. You can't able to create or modify the files. These are all the differences, okay, between a bare and non-bare repository. Usually, users workspace will be created as a non-bare, and the central repositories, okay, which is used for sharing, will be created as a bare repository. The central repositories will be created as a bare repository. Okay, so your workspace will be created as a normal repository. What we did yesterday in our session, we have created a repository under a working directory. We have under this directory C, we have a user. We have a folder called user, under which we have created a Git folder. Under Git folder, we have created a central.git. This is our this repository has been created as a bare repository. Also, we have created a workspace. How this workspace has been created? From this central repository by cloning the central repository. Okay, the command that we use is, so to make this repository as a bare repository, the command is git init hyphen bare. If you, before that, what we did, we need to move into the location cd c:, users, under user we have created a git, and you want to move to the location into this central.git. You want to move to the location into the central.git. Then under that you need to initialize git init -bare. வெளியில இருந்து கிடையாது, உள்ள போயிட்டு பண்ணணும். இப்போ இந்த இடத்துல வெளியில இருந்து பண்ணீங்கன்னா இங்க 3 ஃபோல்டர் கிரியேட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா எந்த ஃபோல்டர்னு தெரியும். So here you want to move to the location, the central.git, and if you issue this command git init -bare, this central.git will act as a repository. Now we will create another one. Okay. After that, what we need to do? So here under the let me create a workspace. For that, the command is git clone the source central.git, then the target workspace one. It will create a workspace. while creating a workspace, what are all the files that is present in the central.git will be automatically copied here. Initially, we have created an empty workspace, and later what we did, so we move to the workspace, cd to the workspace. Here, this command need to be created where? Okay, under the following location. You should be under the following location. Okay, so you should be away from this central.git directory. Then if you type present working directory, it should give you should be under C:\user git. From this you need to execute this command git clone central.git ws1. And laterally what you can do, you can create file in ws1. Let me create a file. cd ws1 will take you to ws1. If you type present working directory, it will show you as under C users, user, git and workspace one. Now you can create a file touch one.java file, and you can add content to the file. And if you type git status, it will give you the status of the file. So in terms of the file status has been concerned, yesterday itself we got discussed. The file can be in only one of the following thing. It can be a untracked file. It can be an unmodified file. It may be a modified file, and it may be a staged file. These are all four file categories associated with a file in Git. We have discussed about each and every status of file, when it will be untracked, when it will be unmodified in our yesterday session itself. Okay, just a recall. If you give the status Git status, here the file will be an untracked file. Why so? Because here this is our workspace one, this is our staging area, and this is your central repository. You have created the file under this workspace one. The file is not aware to this central repository. If that is the case, if the file is known only to the workspace, the file will be untracked file. Then if you want to make this file to become a staged file, what you need to do is you want to issue git space add dot, or you can git issue add file name. Now the file will be moved to the staging area. In the staging area only, it will be taking a backup, a snapshot it will be taken. So now the file status will become from untracked into staged file. From the staged file, if you issue this command git commit, so while issuing a commit, you want to issue a commit message -m one.java. Some messages need to be here added. Now the file will be taken to this repository. Once it is taken to the repository, this file one.java is known to both ws1 as well as this central repository. Now the file status will become a unmodified file. Okay. So if you do some modification, laterally what you do, so move to the workspace. Okay, you are now in this workspace. You add additional line, echo, second line, greater than one.java. Okay, you added one line into the file. Okay, now what happened here? This one.java contains one additional line. Whereas the one.java here in central repository doesn't contain any line. In this case, the file here is different from the file here. So now the file is in the modified state. So these are all the various status of the file, which you can get by simply issuing this command git status. Okay, everything has been discussed in the yesterday session. Just a recall. So laterally what we did, we committed, and if you want to visit this list this commit ID, the command is git log. Git log command will let you know the commit ID. Okay, now if you want to now if you move to you. Okay, if you move to the particular central repository, CD central repository, and if you type here git log, it won't reflect this commit ID here. Okay, it won't reflect the commit ID which you listed in workspace 1. So for that, what you need to do, so you want to move to this workspace 1. From the workspace, you want to issue the command git push. Once the git push command has been issued, all the commit IDs that you have committed here will be pushed to the central repository. The central repository won't contain this file 1.java, 2.java like file what we have created in this workspace. Instead of that, it maintains the metadata information about this file. Okay, so the central repository will maintain the metadata information. It won't list if you hear a ls, if you hear a ls, it will list you have 1.java. If you list here ls, it won't list the file, but instead of that, it will maintain the metadata information about this file. Okay, so you can also create another workspace WS2 from this central repository. For that, what is the command? Once again, you want to specify git clone. From where you need to clone this is central. Let me make it is central dot git. You want to clone a new workspace 2. What happens here in this case is, if you move to this workspace 2, cdws2, and if you issue a ls command, here the workspace ws2, even though it is created now, being it is created from this central.git, what it will contain? The central.git contains the file 1.java. That file will be presented here in this workspace. This is the way by which a clone command, which is sourced at a global repository, in creating a target workspace will contain all the files which is present in the central repository. Okay, this is the way by which you can do all those things. So if you want this workspace 2, you are now in workspace 2. If you want, if let me imagine there is another file bem 2.java. Okay, so here this workspace 1 we have created 2.java, and this is uploaded to here 2.java. In workspace 2 we have only 1.java. If I want this 2.java here, what I need to do? I want to issue git pull. Git pull, what happens here is, it will move to the source repository through which this workspace WS2 has been created. Here in this case, the source repository is central.git. Git push command will pushes the file from the workspace into the source repository. Git pull command do the reverse thing. It will get the file, what it is not present in the workspace 2, from the central repository and place here. So these are all the ways by which you can either push a file from your workspace into the central repository, or you can pull a file from the central repository into the workspace. Let me do all the things in a quick nutshell before proceeding further. Okay, Git is installed in the following location. You want to go for git bash. When you install git in Windows, you have a prompt git bash. Okay, this is your git bash prompt. Now if you type present working directory, it was under C:\user. Okay, it was under the following. So let me create we have a directory by name git here, cd git here. You have under the git you have multiple files. Okay, so what we can do is, let me create a directory git1. We have C:\user. Let me create a directory by name git1, and we'll do all the process here. cd git1. Okay, now the present working directory is git1. So what I am going to do, I am going to create a repository here. Make dir. Let me make the repository as central. Okay, central.git. Central. Okay, now you have If you type ls, now you can find we have a repository central.git. It is simply a directory. Okay, you can find it is simply a directory. If you type ls-l, it shows it is a directory. If you want to make it as a repository, what we need to do, move to this folder and issue git init. Okay, so if you want to make it a bar, you can give a hyphen bar. If you want to create this repository as a non-bar, you no need to issue this hyphen bar. Initialize the empty git repository. Now you can find it is a bar repository which contains a branch called as masters. Okay, we have discussed about the concept of branch in our yesterday's class itself. We have a branch by name master. It is a repository. Now what we are going to do? So here we are under the repository. We are going to create a workspace now. CD, move one position backward. Now the present working directory list was under git. You create a workspace. The command to create a workspace is git clone. You want to specify the repository central.git workspace 1. Yes, you can find you have appeared to have cloned an empty repository. Move to the repository. Okay, move back, move to workspace 1. Now if you type ls, you cd git 1. ls, now you have workspace 1. If you move to workspace 1, now you can find there is no file here. Let me create a file here. Touch 1.java. Now you find that you have a file in the workspace 1. Okay. So what happened here? If you want to view the status of the file, what is the command? Git status. The file will be in a untracked. You have 1.j added a file. Okay, the file status is untracked file now. Now to make it a tracked file, to make it as a staged file, what you need to do? Git add space. Okay. Here now if you find that the status of the file, if you want to view the status, git status, now you can find it is a new file. Now you want to commit the changes in the file. Okay, so you can git log. If you get a git log, you can find nothing is added, nothing is committed here. So the command to commit is git commit -m. You want to give the message 1.java added. It is a mandatory that you commit each and every commit should be committed with the message. Now you have a committed message, a commit ID will be created. So let's be clear. Now you have only one file Java. If you want to view the status of the file, the command is git status. It will list that you was under the master branch, okay, of this workspace 1, and you have only one file. If you want to view this log information, git log, now it will show you have a commit ID. The commit was made by the Raman with this mail ID Raman Sriranga, and the date which the commit is made is this one, and the file is added is Java. If you want some detailed information, the command is git show. Git show, what you need to do, you want to give the commit ID. The first 7 characters of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first 7 characters that you want to issue, paste. It will give more information. Okay, what file is added, at when time added, everything will be given. So these are all the ways by which you create a file. You add the file and you committed the file. Now if you move to this workspace, from this workspace, now you have git log. You are in this workspace. You just look into you are in this workspace 1 of this master branch. It shows it is a log. If we move to the central repository, cd central, and again if we issue git log here what happened? Nothing is committed here. Here the commit is made only on our local repository one. If the commit want to update to this central repository, what you need to do is you want to move to this workspace 1, cd workspace 1. From there, the 1.java file, if you want to move that, what you need to do is git push. The command is git push. Okay, now git push will push the object from this workspace 1 into the central repository. Now if you type git log, you can find a log here. Similarly, move to this particular central cd central.git. Once again, if you issue git log, you can find the same log here. Okay, it won't list the file. If you type ls, it won't list the 1.java, but it will maintain the log information. Okay, the central repository won't contain a file, but it maintains the metadata information about the file. And if you create any other workspace from that central repository, it will by default create a file. Let me create another workspace. Okay, so cd dot dot. Let me create another workspace. Git clone central. This is the source space workspace 2. Now we have workspace 2. Move to this workspace 2. cd workspace 2. If you type, whether we have typed anything here, nothing. If you type ls, you will find 1.java here. How? So this is the central, from this central repository. Sorry, from the central repository, we have initially created a central dot git is the repository. From the central repository, we have created a workspace 1. In the workspace, I have added a 1.java, and relatively by using this push command, I have pushed this 1.java here, and I had created another workspace 2 by from this central.git. Automatically being 1.java being it is in central.git, while creating a workspace from a central git, here too we have this 1.java. This is the way. If you create here 2.java, then 2.java will be present only on the workspace 2. If you want to move to WS1, what you need to do? You want to push this 2.java to this central git, and now the central.git will contain 1.java and 2.java. So then from this workspace 1, if you issue a git pull, what happens here is, whatever all the thing that is in the central.git will be downloaded here. We are going to discuss this thing now. இப்போ local repository workspace ஒண்ணுங்க. இந்த global repositoryங்கிறது GitHub. இதுதான் இப்போ இதான் அந்த central.git தான் local repository ஆயிடுச்சு. workspaceம் குளோபல் அப்படின்னா நம்ம GitHub தான் குளோபல், இது லோக்கல். இங்க நம்ம பண்ற சென்ட்ரல் மிஷின்ல பண்ற எல்லாமே லோக்கல் தான். இங்க கமிட் அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தா, புஷ்ன்னு கொடுத்தாதான் அந்த ரெபாசிட்டரி, கமிட்னு கொடுத்தா இங்க போய் சேவ் ஆயிக்கும். அந்த பிரான்ச்சுக்குள்ள இல்ல, அந்த ஸ்டேஜிங் ஏரியால போய் சேவ் ஆயிக்கும். ஸ்டேஜிங் ஏரியால போய் சேவ் ஆயிக்கும். ஆடுன்னு கொடுத்தா இங்க ஸ்டேஜிங் ஏரியாவுக்கு மூவ் ஆகும். கமிட்னு கொடுத்தா அங்க போய் சேவ் பண்ணிக்கும். ஸ்டேஜிங் ஏரியால இருக்கிறதோட நோக்கம், here it is used to take a backup, and to save that you want to issue commit. After that, if you issue push, then only it will move to the repository. Commit கொடுத்தாதான் அந்த commit ID create ஆகி இந்த changes record ஆகும். changes தானே. அப்போ முதல் ஃபைலுக்கும் அடுத்து பண்ண சேஞ்சஸ்க்கு என்ன டிஃபரன்ஸ்ங்கிறத வச்சு தெரிஞ்சுக்குவீங்க. அந்த commit ID அதுதான் அந்த இடத்துல நடக்கும். Okay, so now what we are going to do? So now let me create 2.java and do the following thing, and push the command. It will push to the central git. When you move on to this WS1, when you issue git pull, you have 2.java here too. Okay, now move to, now you are in currently pwd ws2. If you type ls, you have 1.java. Let me create another file, touch 2.java. Now if you have ls, you have 2.java. If you give a git status, you can find one file as a untracked file. You can find this 2.java is a untracked file. Now if you issue git add dot, it will be added to the staging area. git commit will create a commit ID. Git commit -m 2.java added. Now a commit ID has been created. If you get the git log, now you can find you have two commit IDs. First commit ID is for 1.java added, second commit ID is 2.java added. Okay, so now if you move to this particular central cd cd central repository, and if you type ls, if you type git log, you can find only one commit ID. So if you want to get this another commit ID, what you need to do? Here, from here itself, you can issue a command git pull. Oh, sorry, it should be run in a work tree. Move to the location cd cd workspace 2. Here what you need to do is git push. Now you can find git push will add the second 2.java here too. Okay, if you move to this cd central.git, then if you type here git log, now you can find the two logs. Yes, two commit ID is present. Now I want this commit ID to be recorded here. Okay, what I did, I created 2.java and using git push command, it is pushed to the central repository. Now I did this all this thing in WS2. So I want this information 2.java to come here for WS1 also. How I can make it? Okay, so here move to this WS1. Here if you type git log, now you can find you have only one commit ID. From here you want to type the command git pull. What happened? From WS1, if you issue git pull, it will connect to the repository, the origin repository, and it will pull all the files here. Here if you type git log, what happened here? You can find the two commit ID. So these are all the ways by which a file created in one workspace can be moved to central and it can be shared among multiple workspace. Okay. Here the repository that we are talking here is local repository. If you want to move this file from this workspace into global repository, one such global repository is GitHub. You should have an account with GitHub. If you create an account with GitHub, a URL will be formed. Okay. So while issuing this push command, git push, and if you specify the URL, then automatically this file will be pushed to this global GitHub. Okay, so we have so far not yet discussed this global repository. We have discussed only about the local repository. So to do that, let me create an account with GitHub. Move to GitHub. To create an account. GitHub.com. So GitHub is so here you want account credentials. Raman Sri Lanka Gmail Sri Lanka 6s. GitHub.com. हम login है. So let me, you have a two repositories. Start it first. Okay, so here you want to create a repository. Let me create a repository here, central A. Okay, the description is so yeah, global repository for Raman. This is the description. It is a public repository. So the repository it will create with a readme.txt file for the simplicity. Okay. So here a repository has been created. Here the repository is having a branch master, okay, and contains only one file readme.txt file. So here this repository will have click Common Sridhanga Central A. You will get a URL here. Okay. From inside. This is the URL http github.com Raman Sridhanga Central.a. Okay. What you need to do? Copy the URL and from this GitHub, okay, if you issue a push command, what you need to do before that, this workspace need to be created using this git command. Okay, so let me create this workspace. You are in WS2. இங்கிருந்து அது லிங்க் பண்ணிருக்கணும் முதல்ல. Let me get git push. ரெண்டுக்கும் லிங்கா இருந்தாலும் இதான். Right. Username for https github.com. No. என்ன நேம்? என்ன பாஸ்வேர்ட் தெரியலையே. நீங்க போட்ட பாஸ்வேர்ட் now you can find it is pulled here. Okay, so you can verify by moving on to this readme.txt. எங்க இருக்கு கீழ ஃபெயில் கிட்ல ஃபெயில் கிட் பாக்ஸ் பேஷ் போங்க git bash போங்க git bash கீழ ஆமா git bash கமாண்ட் போங்க கீழ fail to push There failed to push some references to IP. The updates are rejected. The report contains work that you do not have locally. So this is usually caused on the repository pushing to the same reference. What you need to do, you want to first create a repository by referring that. So let me create a git clone. This is your URL. You want to create a workspace 3. Now you have this workspace 3 containing which information? Readme. Okay, now we have connected to this workspace WS3. If you have anything here, let me create under this workspace WS3. You are under workspace WS3. The file touch 4.java. Now a file has been created. Git add. It will git space add dot space. It will add the file and git commit -m 4.java added. Okay, what happened here is in the central if you find this git log, you can find you have a 4.java added. If you move to this git, resolution it will be pulled here. எங்க போய் பார்ப்போம். நீங்க புஷ் பண்ணிட்டோம் தான். Have activated the file finder readme.txt. இங்கே கிரியேட் பண்ணது readme.txt. பார்க்கறதுக்கு எப்படின்னு பாருங்க. இந்த கமாண்ட் here, if you want to push these changes to the global repository, what you need to do, you want to issue the command git push the global URL. It will ask for the username and password. The password is, now the file need to be pushed there. You can find the file is pushed there. Okay, now it is pushed successfully to this particular source of github.org raman central.a.git. Okay, from master to master tab. You can check it here. The central repository. Now you can find 4.java here. Okay, this is the way. So 4.java added 3 minutes ago. Okay, so this is the way you create new file, another file here. Let me create a file here. And then okay, file content. Hi, welcome. Edit a file. Hi is the message. Okay, commit a file. The file is 5.java. Description 5.java added. Commit directly to the master branch. Commit new branch. So name your file 5.java. Okay, the content of the file, commit new file, Java added, commit new file. Now what happened? Here a new file will be committed here 5.java. Okay, so here if you want this file in your Git, what you need to do here? So here in your master, clear. If you type ls, you have 4.java and readme. 5.java then you put on. So here what you need to do, you want to issue the command git pull. Git pull, you want to specify the URL. Else what happened? This will okay, git pull na idhula irundha create பண்ணிருக்கோம். Okay, direct இது பண்ணிப்போம். ஏன்னா git pull நம்ம create பண்ண அதுல இருந்து தான எடுத்துறோம். Direct connect ஆயிடும். Okay, now you have 5.java. This is the way by which you can either upload a file into the local repository, or you can create the global repository and you can upload the file and you can download the file. This is the way of creating and sharing files with respect to Git in terms of local and global repository. So with this we come to today's session. We can have our session on coming weeks.